going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. We have yet another amazing guest this morning, my friends. Yeah, you guessed it. We did it again. You did it again. We all did it again. This is quite the role we're on with just such amazing people in this community. This morning, we've got a wonderful man, a true man of all men, do it all kind of guy, a man's man. Okay, so for all of you who are looking for more masculine energy up in this piece, well, you're about to get your taste of it this morning, because this guy is one of a kind, and he's got the beard to go with it. Please help me welcome another brand new marketer, somebody who's new to this whole online world, who's new to Legendary Marketer, who I'm excited to talk to for the very first time, and you all get to hear the conversation, each and every word right here as I'm hearing it right from the horse's mouth. And this gentleman, I think, actually has some horse out on his farm. Matt, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you, man?
I'm good. Welcome, guys. I'm glad to be here. So yeah, it's been a game changer for us. So excited to do this live and see if I can help inspire anybody else. That's really the reason why I jumped on this live with Dave, is to help somebody else who may be new to all this and want to have a different lifestyle. So
for sure, man, for sure. So tell us a little bit about, where you're from, who you are, and what led you to Legendary. What were you looking for? Do you feel like this is something that you found that is a good fit for you? Did you tell us all the things about how you got here and how this has ended up for you here so far.
All right. So my name is Matt Loertscher. I'm a Southeast Idaho farm kid. I've lived here for about 12 years, and I was like anyone else. I did what I was supposed to. I went and, talked with my dad. He was a heavy equipment operator, and he's like, man, if you want a life that's going to take care of you, you got to go, get a trade. So I started in heavy equipment, learning that. And then I went and found another job working at a mining facility. It wasn't a power plant. It's actually a mining facility. And I started at the bottom as a laborer and worked my way up to upper management, became a safety guy. I worked there for 5 years, and money was good, but I had no freaking time. And then we were working 90 plus hours every week. We were constantly just always at work 21 days in a row. And it never seemed like they ever cared, right? It was like, hey, I need my boys' baseball game off. And they're like, not if you're on shift. Sorry.
Right.
And I'm like, this was getting old. So we kind of knew, me and my wife, that just, it wasn't working for me. I hadn't rode a horse in 2 years, and that's a big hobby for me, is training horses and helping kids learn how to ride and kind of keep that heritage alive. And so I left and decided I was going to go work for the local city. And I've been with the city the last couple of years, 2 years now. And sure, I was making good money. And so now I work for the city, and I had some time back. I could do the things I wanted. And that's kind of where Legendary kind of fell in my lap. Was I was trying to work full time for the city and then do my horse training business on the side. I was constantly I didn't have any time. I'd get off work, get the kids home, help the wife what I could. And if she's listening, she's probably like, you didn't help me at all. You just went and did your thing. So I'll throw it out there that I'm driven. If I have something I want to do, I want to go do it. So I got on the horses, started riding, and I can remember the specific night. I got a 7-year-old boy, and I'd come in from training horses, and he comes down the stairs, and he's just crying, and his first question was like, why do you work all the time? And I'm like, I've got to, man. I've got to. If I want a better life, I've got to work. So trying to teach my boys that you have to put in the long hours. You got to do the hard things. And even if they don't understand it, and that just hit a nerve with me, man. I remember I was crying with them, and I was mad at life just because I didn't know a way out, right? Like, that was it. I was going to have to work a job so I could make money and still try to build my business on the line. And
yeah,
it's just, yeah. So that's how I found Legendary. Was I think it was Chelsea Omet and Mr. Phil, and who's the other one? Kelly Roberts. I kind of seen all their videos through Facebook, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a look at this, because I have not a clue what they're even talking about. But if I can start for $7, what do I got to lose? So I jumped into the Legendary course. I started, and I was probably like the perfect person, I guess. I jumped right in. I went through all the training and just tried to figure it out. And it really clicked to me when you brought up the 4 business models. So one of the big entrepreneurs that is a horse trainer, and he's a world-renowned horse trainer. I started noticing that all 4 of the business models that you claim is in his horse training business. He does affiliate marketing. He has digital products. He does the coaching where you can go, spend 20 grand and work with him, and he teaches you. And then he's got events. And I was like, it's right here in front of my freaking face. Like, I've seen this over and over. Why am I not doing it with my own business?
It makes me want to say yeehaw.
Right? That's where it was at. I was like, all right, I've hit the gold mine. I've just got to learn the skills, become the person I need to be. And that's how we found Legendary. And that's how this all got started.
Nice. So, I mean, you went from $7 to saying, hey, I want to get serious about this. I think you enrolled in our blueprints. I mean, you kind of really said, hey, I want to learn these skill sets because I'm seeing them play out in, now I don't have my shades anywhere around here, but I usually put on the glasses and they're like the marketing shades. You have seen the light. You now see these actual business models that we laid out for you right in the challenge. You see them, and you gave the example, 20,000 come to my farm and learn how to ride right with me. So you are not only seeing other people do it in new niches, which you mentioned Phil, Chelsea, Kelly, doing it in the sort of online business and wealth space, but you also realize that you're witnessing these very business models in the actual things that you're personally passionate about.
Yeah, that's exactly
that you have knowledge and expertise in already.
Yes. Yep, that was it. And my wife was like, yes, affiliate marketing's a thing. She sees all these other gals that she follows doing it, right? And I'm like, yes, this has been in front of us, and I just didn't ever realize that I could apply it in my own life. I'd never seen it, or didn't have a clue that was a way that you could make money and how they were making loads of it instead of me going out. I can only ride so many horses in one day, and that's it. That's all I can do. I only got so much, I guess, seat time that I can accomplish with the horse, and so it was like I've got to find some other way of making money. And when I seen that, the 4 business models that you showed, I can do that, and all I have to do is learn. So I was like, well, if they're offering a course that teaches you those 4, why would you not buy them? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've had conversations with people that are like, I can't afford to buy the blueprints. I'm like, can you afford not to? Like, if you knew what you got with the blueprints and you got the coaching and you could talk to people and bounce ideas off of them, that's worth more money than the $2,500.
Yeah, of course.
So,
well, it's changing one's mindset. And I'm sure you have had to go through a shift yourself to, I'm sure you've parted with money very easily when it comes to buying things for your horses, buying things for your farm, buying things for around the house, or things that are outside of yourself. But is it a new concept? And have you had to shift your mindset a bit in terms of, if I'm going to learn this and be successful, I need to make an investment in myself somehow, some way? Whether I buy blueprints here from Legendary, whether I learn it from somewhere else, it has that concept of, was the concept of you investing in yourself something that you also needed to shift your mindset for?
I'd say I needed it. Did I know I need it? No. I think there's some, we've talked about it, or I've heard people talk about it on this show. It's like, you're stuck in the same cycle, right? I've always had the entrepreneur thing. My wife will tell you, like, I'm always out there trying to earn a buck, trying to do this, trying to do that. But in fact of myself, like personal growth, I was always stuck at my limitations. I'd get so far, something would happen, and I'd start over again. And then we'd just keep that same cycle. And I never could see past what was I doing wrong, because I didn't realize there were other options. And so when I seen this, it was like, I had to shift my mindset and think of long-term goals. Limiting beliefs. Am I worthy of building a digital content or a digital product that I could sell with my horse training business? Things like that I wasn't aware that I could do. I knew I can learn, but it was definitely, I had to change my mindset on being a better person, becoming the person I need to become so I can make sure my business is successful. And that's all of it. Watching my habits, watching, your scroll time, being on social media. Are you actually doing money-making actions, or are you just wasting time? And so like all that mindset stuff come into play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, really, I talked about this yesterday, that entrepreneurship gives us an opportunity to take an inventory of everything in our lives, not only the people that we spend time with, the people whose opinions and validation that we're open and seeking, the boundaries that we're setting in terms of who we're willing to answer the phone for, who we're willing to spend time with, the boundaries that we set for ourselves, as you just mentioned, about, am I actually spending time doing income producing activities on my phone, or am I just doing research, or just giving, I say research, but it's really just scoliosis,
Yeah.
Stuck in a black hole of the unlimited scroll. And the scroll is all you can eat. I mean, it really is. It's an all you can eat buffet. You can sit on that thing all day if you want to. We've all spent 20 or 30 minutes on the toilet there. I know I've sat there on the toilet before until my legs got numb. So I have a full spectrum of experience of how powerful how powerful what we do is in terms.
Yeah.
And you know what the truth is shifting now to taking advantage of the social media platforms that are already out there. The truth is that as you could probably understand, the field is already set. In order to ride a horse, I'm sure that you need, some sort of I remember when my daughter was riding horses, she had what do you call that thing that's undercover and it's got dirt in it, and it's
an arena, just like a
an
small
arena. Okay. She was riding inside of an arena. The table was set for her already. The foundation was laid. The place for her to go and ride the horse and make it easy for the trainer to train her and ride in circles and do all the thing. It was there.
And controlled environment.
It's a controlled environment. The same way for us, we think that internet marketing is so hard, but the truth is that the damn arena is already set for us. Social media is there, and people are going to be making tens of hundreds of billions of dollars, whether we choose to get our piece of the pie or not.
Correct.
And the truth is if it's so ingrained in our society, if we choose not to take advantage of it, we will likely just default to consumers of it anyways. How big of a deal is it now for you, who now knows that you and has seen examples and realizes this is happening everywhere around you? How important is it for you to take advantage of all these platforms that are already out there for us, now that you see that you can use that time for income producing activities versus just being a consumer?
Huge difference, right? Like once you realize that it's, like you said, it's already there. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms are there, and you decide, do you want to use them to make money, or do you want to use them to just more or less waste your time? Because when it comes down to it, we all need money some way or another to make the world run and your life's easier. And so if I have a chance to use something that's already going to help me get my information out there for free, especially when it's organic, why would you not take advantage of it? That's a huge win for me. Like the other day, I posted a video about a horse training blanket that I've used the last year that somebody recommended to me. I posted that blanket talking about I love it, what it is, how it works. And I got 90-something views in the first 30 minutes and 11 clicks through my affiliate marketing for it. And I was like, why did nobody ever tell us this? Why did you not learn about this in school and stuff like that? And so, yeah, huge. Why would you not take advantage of something that can give you better chances of earning money?
Yeah, I was been seeing this new chiropractor that I really like, and and a couple of you have mentioned that I sound a little congested and stuff. I do have a cold right now, and I also have an ear infection that just developed overnight. And I just came from the doctor, and she said that my eardrum is not looking good, and so I got some antibiotics. But dadgummit, I'm here, and it's all I had to do was come home, right, to go to work. Imagine that. I came home to go to work, Matt.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, I am a little congested right now, and it's fine. But anyways, I was not sick enough to not be here. You know how sometimes you can be like not that sick, but you want to call into work to your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Whereas if you were working from home, you'd totally work, right? So I can be honest and say I'm not that sick not to go to work, especially at home.
Yeah.
So anyways, and I felt bad for the pharmacist and the doctor who were stuck in, and I needed to go right now. So I just went to CVS Minute Clinic, for God's sakes, because I knew what I needed. I needed some antibiotics. So I was seeing this chiropractor, and he has all these little things in the office, little neck wedges, hook things that work knots out of your back, all these different little cool things. I mean, foam rollers, probably stuff that the majority of the people have never seen or owned.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to have foam rollers and stuff, but there's been a few things so anyways, he was like, well, I need to make an Amazon list for all these things that I got here in the office. And I was thinking to myself, you don't want to give unsolicited advice. I don't go around telling everybody I'm an internet marketer and all that kind of stuff. It's not MLM. I did enough of the prospecting friends and family and anybody within 3 feet for many years. But I thought to myself, how valuable would it be and how much extra money could he make if he said, hey, I've got a 5-video course I want you to watch when you get home. They're short, impactful videos that are going to show you and demonstrate for you the exercises that are going to help you to keep your spine in alignment and to improve your pain, if not eliminate it, using these low to no cost exercises and these, again, low to no cost tools that you can use, such as foam rollers, neck wedges, etc. And if within that course, he just had demonstrations of the various stretches and things that you would do with these little tools, and there was an affiliate link under them for you to go buy them on Amazon. And then at the end of that course, he may have an offer that once you've gone through that free 5-day course and bought all the little things that you didn't know even you didn't even feel like he was selling you anything, because he's sending you to an external site to go get all these different tools and stuff, or whatever you'd call them, foam rollers, neck wedges, stuff like that. And then at the end of the 5-day free course, he had an offer for you. What is that offer? Well, it could be an assortment of things. It could be a course. It could be a coaching program. It could be an event. It could be a 1-day event, right? He could put on a 1-day event at his office, or a 1-day seminar, how to align. He could transition easily into personal development. He could transition into healthy eating. He could transition into healthy. I'm sure there's things he could talk about. For God's sake, the guy went to school for 8 or 10 years or whatever. He's a dadgum doctor. I'm sure he's got some things he can talk about and teach us about how to be healthy, right?
Yep.
But instead, he doesn't get it. He doesn't see it. He doesn't know about it. 8 to 10 years worth of college, $65 a visit. Somebody comes in. I mean, that's grinding for money. This guy's a doctor, grinding $65 a pop.
Yep.
And that's it. Trading time for money. What comes up for you when I just go over that example?
The same thing. So Loertscher horsemanship we've had for a while, and I obviously taking this course, I've seen how I put it in play. And we were just talking about this, me and the wife, the other day, that like building a pamphlet, right? Giving them their freebie. Here's the freebie of the top 5 tools that I use when my horse needs a better attitude. When me and my horse's attitude's not getting along, what's the reasoning? Check out these 5 products. This is what I use. And they're all affiliate links, right? So my halters, my tie rings, saddle pads, anything that I use, we made a freebie that they can click on, get at any time using the internet, right? They see my TikTok account of Loertscher horsemanship and they decide how that all works. If they want to move over and find out if they can do it for, 5 steps, and it's a freebie. If they want the products that I use that can help them, they get it. And then, like you said, right at the end, click on this link if you guys want a round pending session where I will come and help you on a one-on-one.
Right.
Like, yeah.
You could sell people, our income is only capped by our creativity. Let me say that again. Yeah. Our income is only capped by our creativity, and it's only also capped by our perfectionism. And so coaching nowadays, if you were doing horse coaching of any type, whether that was coaching your horse's attitude, as you just said, or somebody to ride on horses, FaceTime.
Why spend the gas mileage, right?
FaceTime, people. I mean, you just hold it. Here's what you're going to need for your coaching session: your phone and a tripod. Here's an Amazon link. You could even have a dadgum affiliate sale off of once somebody buys your coaching. You're telling them, here's what you're going to need for your coaching. You're going to need a cell phone, which you already probably have, and you're going to need a dadgum tripod. And here's a link to Amazon to buy your dadgum tripod. And you know what? You're making an affiliate commission off of that. I mean, everywhere you look. See, we do things too much for free. And who was it I was talking? Oh, it was yesterday's guest. She was a mortgage broker. And she mentioned how much she does for free. Now, Matt, I'm sure you can relate to this. You seem like a nice guy. How many times have you had a conversation, taken a phone call, stopped on your way home from work, had somebody over to the farm, et cetera, and it's just hangout time, or it's just giving away free advice, or it's just talking to somebody one-on-one and not charging? And the truth is that everything should and could be charged for. Why? Not because you're an asshole, but more so because you value your time. And the truth is, if you really want to help people, this is a mindset shift that we all have to go through. If you really want to help people, understand that people who pay attention, and people who don't pay don't value your advice. You could give here's an example that's crazy. You could tell somebody, a friend, the same exact advice that they go to a seminar and pay $10,000 for, and they will come home and tell you how much they learned.
Yeah.
And you will go, wow.
That happens all the time, especially in the horse training industry, because people want the direct message, right? Like, I came to you with the question. I want you to tell me for free, because if you don't want to help me for free, then I don't want to give you any money. And that was so true what you just said. The mindset shift of me personally, like, my time is valuable, but not only is it, I could be doing things that are making me money and helping you for an hour and a half after practice or at the fairgrounds helping you doesn't really make me a whole lot of money. It makes me $30 if I come and give you a small lesson, right? And I totally agree. Like, people want things way too much for free, and I don't know what the mindset is behind that really, but as far as when people pay, they pay attention. They actually want to engage with it, and I find they're better customers.
Well, here's a mindset shift for everybody. Stop giving away free value to people who don't value you.
Yeah.
People should want you to be compensated for your knowledge. The approach that I have when I'm asking somebody for something is now imagine this. Instead of feeling entitled, and I'm pretty successful, pretty well off, I could come in with an ego and be like, well, I'm entitled to this information for free. You should feel privileged to talk to me. You know what my attitude is instead? And I do know some people like that. You know what my attitude is instead? Hey, I'd love to learn what you know, because you know more about it than I do. And I'd love to compensate you for your time. I want to pay you. If somebody offers me something for free, if they don't have some sort of a pay structure, it's not a business, I try to tip them, or I do tip them, or I force them to take money. Not because everything has to be transactional, but because money makes the world go round. That's just the way the world we live in. And if I can now I even do this with delivery men. I do this with people who come to work at my house, but especially if I'm asking somebody advice or I'm asking them for knowledge that they have taken years to cultivate and to learn and to improve and to perfect, and they've done the hard work to stick with it and become an expert. Why is another reason why I want to pay somebody for their time? Because I want them to feel obligated to give me good information. Yeah. So it's also somewhat, right? It's a win-win. It's a win-win, right? If I'm just getting it for free, then,
you're not going to get the best value that he can give you.
Totally. But I tell you what, if you pay somebody and then even overpay them and tip them or tip them up front or let them know that you're there to be the best client that they've ever had. And that honestly is my motto and my pet peeve whenever I'm doing business with somebody else, is not only do I, and this is a mindset shift, right, for everybody, not only do I as a business provider, a service provider, want to be the best experience they ever had, but get this is the hit right here, because this is how I attract, I would say, good karmic business karma into my life, is I flip the script when I'm a client and I make it a goal to be the best client they've ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, so it just, I get the best service, Matt, with everything that I do. I mean, my barber comes over. I want you to think about this. I get a haircut every single week. My barber comes to my house. He's a Cuban immigrant, just got his citizenship not too long ago. He's currently right now working at a salon cutting hair for, I think it's 25 or 30 bucks a pop, right? When he does a men's haircut. He comes to my house every week and I pay him $200. But I'm going to tell you something, Matt. He's never late.
Right.
I'm always a priority. And he always comes on Thursday, which is his day off. And he gives me the best haircut, caters if my dad needs a haircut, my son needs a haircut, comes with a big smile on my face. And you know what? It feels good for me to help him and to be his best client. And I try to have that approach. So anyways, what's my point of saying all this? Not only am I saying that for those of you who are pinching pennies and trying to get free stuff, cut that out, stop it, because you're creating bad business karma for yourself in the world. But also, why would we want to try to do business with people who don't treat us that way? Why would we want to try to serve people who don't want to pay us? Those are the people that we need to cut out. Those are the boundaries that we need to set. And it's not because we're being jerks to them. It's because we're no longer going to be jerks to ourselves.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, does your son deserve for his dad to get paid? Does your son deserve, and this is rhetorical, of course, I'm asking everybody, but doesn't your kids deserve that if mom or dad's going to be away from the house doing something, that he's dadgum getting frickin' paid to do it?
Yep.
If dad takes a phone call in the middle of playtime or dinner, shouldn't he be getting paid? And shouldn't some of that trickle down to the children?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm fired up this morning.
I get it. Totally. That's where we've been. Like, so long we tried to help other people, tried to give the freebies, tried to be what we thought was a good business owner in helping, I guess, expand our knowledge to those who are looking for it. But then when it really came down to it, they weren't really looking for it. They were looking for a cheap win. And they didn't really want my advice. They just wanted to explain their problem to me. And then when I tried to give my advice, they're like, oh yeah, that didn't work. And I'm like, you didn't even try.
Right.
But then I've got kids that are younger than them that'll show up, 3-4 days out of the week and do riding lessons, and they'll outperform some of them adults that won't even listen. But they care, they show up. And so I totally agree with you there that for those that come, I'll give you an example. For me was I wanted to learn how to shoe horses. And I went to the oldest guy that we knew in town. I was like, hey, would you teach me how to shoe horses? And he says, get you some shaps, get you a hoof knife, get you some clippers, and then come with me. And I was like, well, I just wanted to learn. He's like, you want to learn? You're going to go buy the tools. And I'm like, all right. So I invested in the tools because I was like, all right, I'm going to learn how to do this. And I went with him. And I don't know if anybody on here knows what it takes to shoe a horse, but for me, who's inexperienced, it'd take me probably half the day to get through a whole horse. And this guy can bust them out in like 30 minutes. Like this guy can just go through it. So working with him, he would hold up one foot and I'd hold up the opposite side on the other foot. And we'd be tearing shoes off and just doing this rotating dance thing. And we did 6 horses in just a couple hours. And I was so beaten. He goes, you still want to trim horses? You still want to learn this? And at the time I was like, this guy's just being a jerk and running me through the ringer, right? And now that I'm a little older and I see it, I'm like, no, he was just seeing if I really cared, if I really wanted to put forth the motivation to not waste his time. And I think that's kind of where society is. People want the freebie and they're not willing to work for it. But he was such a valued target. I wanted to learn from him that I was willing to put in the work.
Yeah. I love that he made you buy the tools. I mean, that's just, that's just old school, good old. That's a guy who's old enough, doesn't care what you think, doesn't care, just doesn't care. And I love that.
I took it as it wasn't that he didn't care. He did care. He
did
care what I thought, right?
Right.
He's like, if you want to do this, go get the freaking tools and I'll teach you the fastest way how to do it and not waste your time either, Matt.
Right. Right. But if you said, I'm not buying the tools, he's like, off his bag.
Yep. We'll see you.
We'll see you,
bro. You won't.
Yep. Figure it out on your own. I mean, that's fine because I've taken 20, 30, 40, 50 years to learn this. And, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it the right way. I mean, that's how my father taught me in building and construction. And it's a lot of the reason why I have I think I may not be perfect in everything I do, the best in the world at this or that, or, technical genius or whatever. But in terms of just, okay, I'm going to do it right. And I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to stop until it is done right. And that's an attitude. That's a customer service attitude. That's a great attitude to have. And that is the attitude that everybody needs to have to be successful at any business, particularly this business. You don't have to be a technical genius. You don't even have to be a marketing expert. You just have to say, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And who on here is, and this is not outing yourself. This is just being honest. Who's tired of taking shortcuts and not getting a result? Who's tired of half-assing things? Who's tired of doing it society's way? And you know what? The truth is society wants you to be lazy and advertises that sort of freebie. I mean, it just works. Look at our marketing. We have to give something free away in order to get people's attention because that's what we're all trained to do is freebie seek, right? So instead, us marketers, we give things away for free and then we deliver value, but then we make an offer. And that is where we value ourselves. Eventually an offer comes. And I just think that there's a lot of timeless value in those OGs who, like my dad, like the guy you just gave an example of, and also what it's going to take for all of us to be successful, which is it may not come fast. It may not come overnight. And it's good that it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Good that it doesn't, because you know what? For all of you who are sitting there hoping and praying that you're going to get rich quick and that why aren't I not getting the results at such and such, you may see the glory, but you don't know the story. And the truth is that most of you are not ready. If you made $1 million tomorrow, you'd probably blow it or lose it, or, the truth is that the build up to success, the journey, the building the road is what makes it. That is the pleasure. The journey is, you got to fall in love with the process instead of fantasizing and seducing the outcome. Because the truth is that if you just got the outcome without the process, you'd never know how to get it again. You wouldn't really know what to do with it once you got it. Whereas,
and you don't know how to fix the problems.
Totally. And you're going to have problems. How many times do you have problems out with horses and this and that? And it was, if somebody just gifted you 50 horses in a farm and just said, go crazy, you wouldn't know how to take care of them,
Yep.
So what's it been like for an old farmer boy to get on camera, to get out there and start using digital marketing skills in these strategies to go from mostly, belly to belly, whether that be human belly to human belly or belly to belly, horse belly to human belly, to now working with, video and posting on social media? What was those first videos like, and how have you gotten more comfortable on video? What has been some of the limiting beliefs you've had to overcome in that process of going digital?
I guess I always thought of it like this. I've always been willing to learn new things, whether it's at work, because when you go to work, you go and you learn whatever skill they want you to learn, and you're going to trade that for a paycheck, right? So I took this, seeing the success you can make online. If I can make more than my 9 to 5 doing a digital marketing business, I can dang sure learn how to use a camera and get my face in front of it. I can do that if it's going to pay me in the end. And then I didn't know. I never had a TikTok. I had Facebook, but I didn't really use it a whole lot. And so when I first was like, all right, I'm going to start on TikTok, I picked a platform I didn't know, which probably wasn't the best thing, but I was going to start. I had to start somewhere. So I started with TikTok. Liked never being able to, I guess, sit in front of it and hold my phone and watch myself. Was it awkward at first? Yeah, of course it was. But I never thought of it was like, people are going to make fun of me and I'm going to be this loser on the internet. That had nothing to ever do with it. It was, I'm going to simply just learn how to do this. And if they make fun of me, guess what? They don't pay my bills. They don't have anything to do with me. Nobody's going to come to my house and be like, you're that kid on the internet. I'm like, that ain't going to happen. And I had so many people reach out to me that were like, no, you're that farmer from Southeastern Idaho. I've seen your stuff. And I've had people in my local community like, what are you doing? Why are you on your phone all the time? I'm like, why is anybody on their phone? Why do people make YouTube videos? Because they're making money. And they're like, oh, that makes more sense. And I was like, yeah, that's it. So it was never, I guess, a big scare. It was a little awkward and I had to learn through it. And my first video sucked. And I think everybody says that, but you're just starting, you're just learning. You're trying to figure out how the freaking phone works, how to set it up, what angle to be on, if you had good lighting. Man, I think my first 5 videos, I didn't even realize the wind was like muffling out my voice and stuff like that, because I always did stuff outside. And just the other day, I was talking to guys like, you sound so confident on the phone. And I was like, just repetition. Nobody's going to be good at it your first 100 times. You got to continue to do it over and over and over again. Find your little groove of how you make your videos. And if they're not working, critique them a little bit. Figure out what the next thing is. Like, yeah, that was for me, using the internet and social media and your cell phone and videotaping. It was like, the payout is there. You just got to become the person and learn how to do it. And the money will come later, but you got to be the person, right? So that's what I've tried to do the best, is just practice.
Sherry says, love this guy. He needs to teach mindset, great attitude and outlook. Couple of things, lots of wonderful comments. And thank you all, as I usually say at the end of the episode, thank you all for the kind, warm comments, nice, empowering validation that you all are sending. Matt, of course, being on here live with me for the first time, and always thank you for the kind comments coming back to me as well. But something that comes up, 2 things came up for me with Sherry's comment. Number one, the first thing that came up is, are you surprised and empowered, or how does it make you feel to suddenly get all this positive validation? Forget the hater comments. We're past that with you, I can see. And friends, I hope you take a page out of Matt's book to realize that nobody pays your bills, especially not the haters. Don't let them rent space in your head. But in terms of building confidence, or whatever it has done for you, let me not lead the question. What has the positive validation done for you? what have you learned about yourself through putting yourself out there and hearing the positive feedback from people, taking your recommendations, watching your videos, telling you thank you? Maybe you've got this is life-changing, the real big kind of compliments. If not, those are coming. What has that done for you? What has that taught you about yourself? How has that impacted your self-worth, self-esteem, confidence, all those things that we all need really in order to be successful at anything we do? Have you been surprised by that?
I really have. I've been surprised because I never used the internet. So I mean, I heard TikTok was a terrible trash app and that people were awful on it. And I made a video one time and this lady commented like, "You need to shave your doggone beard." And my reaction was like, "Do you know how long it's taken me to grow this thing? Like, I'm not shaving that. You're crazy, lady." Right. And then I had one lady, I was in the middle of a live and she's like, "You need to brush your teeth, sir. You're disgusting." And I'm like, get over it. You can swipe. You can leave. Like, forget about what people say. And when you go into this knowing that it's for a business and you're here to make money, you don't care what people think because they're not your customers. Those people aren't going to be your customers. But then maybe 2 months down the road, they come back and they're like, "Man, this guy's still here." And then they want to be your customer. Right. And so for me, and then I guess you were asking on positive side and people and
like the comment like Sherry, like saying that you need to be a motivational mindset coach. I mean, does that
like, I'm a Southeastern Idaho farm kid. I'm not no mindset coach, but I'll tell you, everybody has the power to change your freaking mindset. I've been in situations where I'm stressed and I'm tired of being in the dump and I've had a bad attitude. Ask my wife. And the first thing is look at where you want to be in life and look at what you have to offer. And if you don't think you have to offer, and I'm not trying to take this to religiously, but look what God's given you. I mean, there's so many less fortunate people. You have nothing to be pissed about in your life. And everybody has problems. And you have to just get over the fact that you're playing yourself a victim and cutting yourself short and go get what you want. And that's where I was when 5-6 months ago when my boy came down the stairs bawling. I was like, that's it. I've got to be better. I've got to be a better me. I've got to step up to the plate and figure out how to become better. And this is the path that I took. And thank goodness Legendary had a $7 course that I could get started with that started showing me the things I needed. Not that I wanted. I needed this to learn how to be a better person. And so when people reach out to me, I'm like, I'm nobody special. Thank you for your comment, Sherry. I appreciate you. But you have all the same power and tools that I have. And you can do just as good as me, if not way better. You just have to step up to the plate and be that person you want to be.
Love that. Well said. Powerful. Inspirational. I think that validates Sherry's comment. Here's the second thing that came up for me from Sherry's comment. One of the big tasks that we all have when we first start is to choose our niche and our audience. And then we decide, hey, okay, what product can we promote to them? Or we see a cool product and we don't always have to pick the niche or the audience first. We can work our business plan however we want, filling in those spaces. I'm talking about the fishing formula business plan. I mean, if I find a cool product, I can work backwards and say, okay, what audience could I target to sell this product? We put so much emphasis on that. We put so much like it's the biggest decision of our lives and we're so overwhelmed and confused. And people, and again, it's just, that is a great example of how we overcomplicate the hell out of everything. But that's not my point. My point about what came up for me about Sherry's comment and her saying that, man, this guy's motivational as hell. He's empowering. He should be a mindset coach. Are you starting to see that no matter what product, audience, and niche that you pick, the number one thing that you have to help people overcome is their mindset?
Yep. Absolutely. It doesn't matter. So I was going to start with horse training was going to be my niche, right? Horse people. And just in being in business and that, you have to, like, horses aren't the problem. People are. Horses are the most honest, sacred animals on the freaking planet Earth, and people screw them up. And I was one of them, right? I was one of them before my dad, my brothers, we all had a bad mindset because the way we were taught how to break horses was rough. You'd snare them up to a pole and you'd jump on them and they'd go to bucking and kicking and you'd get hurt. The horses would get hurt. And I had to find a different route because that was not the right way. I didn't feel good about it, but it was how I learned. And I had to overcome my own mindset. And so I started reaching out, trying to learn better ways how to do natural horsemanship, teach the horse how they would react, their mindset, right? And when I seen that, it was no different now. When I go talk to new people that are like, oh, my horse is a jerk, he won't load in the trailer. I'm like, it's not the horse. And they're like, what do you mean it's not the horse? He won't get in it. And I'm like, I've had this problem. Let me show you. You are creating your horse's insecurities and your horse's problems, trying to force your horse to do something instead of being a leader, instead of being a coach and teaching them and showing them baby steps on how to even get close to the trailer, let alone in the darn thing. And when you start opening people's mindset that there's a different way to look at anything, whether it's digital marketing, horse training, welding, there's different ways to do it all, but you've got to change your mindset and be open to learning something new. Don't be the closed crab in a shell and like, nope, that ain't for me. Or you're going to be stuck in that by yourself for a long time. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. You gotta open your mindset.
You ever gone to a dog trainer and you know how people they take their dogs and they're like, oh, we're gonna take Fluffy to dog training and get him all get him under control, get his behavior under control because he's out of control. And then you take the damn dog to the trainer, and what does the trainer do?
The dog's fine.
The dog's fine. The dog is being a dog.
Yep.
Dogs eat, chew shit, pee, it's a fucking dog.
Yep.
What do you want the dog to pull up a chair to the table and use the right fork? I mean, what do you think? The dog is an animal, for God's sakes. Same way with a horse. I mean, think about this. A horse is a wild beast. You can
teach it to lay down and let you love all over it.
Isn't that something? If you have the right energy, if you have the right leadership, same thing with kids. Now, this is my belief about children. It's never the kids. Same thing. It's never the kids.
Yep.
It's always us. It's always the way that we're raising them, talking to them, energy that we have in the household, anxiety and tension. I mean, totally. And a lot of the reason why I've pursued this career so aggressively is because, I want to demonstrate for my kid. I mean, my kids, they've never seen me work a job. It's crazy. They've never seen me work a damn job. They've never seen me. I've never introduced them to my boss. I've never came home and, not had the energy to play with them because I was not home yet. And then got home and was so tired from the construction site that I needed to just lay down and take a nap. I've always been here when they got home or picked them up from school, at least my youngest ones. And, I'm lucky in a sense. I'm blessed that at 24, 25, I found this. But what's more powerful, I think, is if your kids have seen you doing it one way, for you to change and to do it a different way, and for them to notice, and then for you to share that lesson with them. What comes up?
You ain't got to do the same job for 40 years because I watched a welder guy the other guy. He was talking about he feels sorry for people that's been stuck in a job for 40 years. And I started thinking this. My dad, all he ever knew was heavy equipment operators. And that's all I ever seen my dad do was go to work these 12, 13-hour shifts. And I never seen any different change. That's all he ever done. And I look at where he's at now. Plus, I love my dad, and he taught me hard work. He taught me how to never the word can't was never in your vocabulary. If you said can't, you got a boot in your butt. You had to figure out the can do's. And that grew, and I guess that's what made me the guy I am today is you can always do something, but I don't want my kids looking now to look at me and think what I thought of my dad was all he ever did was one thing, and he hated it for 40 years, but it paid the bills.
Yeah.
I want my kids to know you ain't got to settle for it. You can't just quit and leave and not have any money coming in. So while you're doing this, you better be learning something else and figuring out what you want to do in your life. But you got to have something you're working on the side. And
working towards, right?
Yeah, working towards. And so,
same thing. I just said that. I just got back from taking my kids to school this morning, and I took them to school, and then I hit the doctor, like I said. But when we were on the way to school, my daughter had something, and I've also pretty much disallowed that word can't in our house and in everything we do. And this morning she said something to Sam, her brother. She said, well, you can't do this yet. And I said, don't tell him he can't. And it was some stuff that was way above his head. It was some multiplication stuff or whatever. And I was like, just tell him he can do it. Tell him he can do it later when he gets home. Just because it's all he wants to do.
In his head.
He just wants to just be a part of. He just wants to draw on the damn paper. It's not like so, but it's just like we don't tell each other that something can't be done, because the truth is kind of like Jay-Z told the story one time about how his own uncle said, you can't sell 1 million records, and then his response was, no, you can't.
Yep.
You can't, but don't tell me that I can't. You can't. You believe that about yourself, right? And so, there's a lot of different motivations. Those of you who are grandparents, I mean, the coolest thing you could do for your grandchildren to connect with them and to teach them and to show them and think about what people are going to say about you when you're gone. Well, grandma, she just did, never, just was miserable until the day she died, but she paid the bills, Or, hey, grandma was always trying something new, always learning, always putting herself out there, always going up against her fears. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that we teach our family and our children and our grandchildren is how we deal with fear, right? And do we let fear dominate us because fear dominates us in all kinds of different ways.
Yep.
Or are we courageous and brave? Do we face our fears? Do we do things that scare us? Do we cry, or do we try? It's not about always being perfect, accomplishing the goal. It's about the journey. It's about trying. It's about putting forth the effort. And the effort is what matters. It's the best way that we can also validate our children, not only validating them when they accomplish the goal, but actually validating the effort. Man, you tried so hard, man. You know what I like best about you, son, is how hard you work, how hard you practice. Nobody outworks you out there. Nobody out-practices you on the field. I say that to my daughter all the time, who dances her butt off. And I say, you're the hardest worker in the studio. You're the hardest 7-year-old, the hardest working, best practicing 7-year-old that I know. I don't think there's another 7-year-old old out there that works harder than you are. I'm proud of you for that. You make me proud, right? Those are the things that it's about, the effort. And that is something that we need to reparent ourselves through this journey of entrepreneurship as well. Is Linda says, I cry, then I try. That's okay, right? It's just don't cry and stay on the pity pot, right? It's try as you're crying. That's even more inspirational. It's even more inspirational if you're crying while you're trying, refusing not to give up. And we all need to reparent or re-grandparent ourselves through this journey of entrepreneurship by encouraging ourselves with this same validation that maybe we did not get or have modeled for us from our caregivers. You were talking about some stories that you remember from your dad. Of course, lots of appreciation there, but also some things that were taught and passed along to you that now you're breaking that cycle and, in a sense, reparenting yourself. You may not be calling it that, but in a sense, that's what you're doing. Your adult self is now telling the maybe adolescent version of Matt when he feels like stuck or gets a bad attitude. We're not doing that today. We're not going to be stuck in the same old thing for 40 years like Pops was. God bless him. We love him. And we're doing something different. We learned from that we want to do. And sometimes that is the best lesson that parents, family, caregivers can give, is what not to do. See, we need to be grateful for those lessons as well, man, because they paved the way and worked their ass off and did not have the same information that we have. They couldn't sit on a morning podcast show like this and listen to this kind of shit. There wasn't the internet. Right. They right. had, you know what I mean? Like you talked about what God gives us, what we have at our fingertips now, brother. It's so much more. It'd be crazy to let it go to waste and not seize the day. Leave us with what you've learned about yourself, brother, through this journey. What have you discovered about Matt that you're proud of, that you're excited about, that you're rejuvenated about, that you've realized about you, what you're capable of? Anything that comes up for you through this journey this year, 2023, doing this?
Man, the journey of just growing, just like you said, I always said it in my videos. I love my mom. I love my dad. They were hard workers. They put in the time. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a heavy equipment operator, like I said, and they couldn't teach me how to use the internet to make money. It was an informational thing, and it was dial up and slow. So for me to take the jump to come to digital marketing, and what I've learned and grown was that you really have the power to do anything you want in this world if you'll just keep your mindset that it's not about money. It's about becoming the person, getting what you need out of it, and growing and being the person that you want your kids to do better than. I want my kids to do better than me, and I want them not to fear how to use the internet. I want them to know how to be able to make money doing TikToks and Facebook. And not because I think it's a lazy thing or that it's a bad rep that they're using the internet. It's that's the way their world's going, whether I want it to or not. So if I want to help them be better at it, I've got to learn the freaking trade myself. And so growing, becoming a person that uses the internet's never scared me, but definitely the community has been the biggest thing that has been mind-blowing to me, is that there are so many people out there that want to learn how to do this, that want to just be involved with other like-minded people. And I didn't think there was anybody out there that'd like a Southeastern Idaho farm kid that has a beard and trains horses. And that has been one of the biggest things for me is don't think that people don't like you. If you get out there and you put your true self out there, be confident in who you are, the people want to talk to you. People want to grow and gain together and have the knowledge and just learn from each other. I think, and everybody just needs to, I guess, get past your fears. And I think the fear only comes from knowledge. I think I've heard that on here, right? Your frustration in life, no matter what it is where your knowledge ends. Your frustration begins where your knowledge ends, friends. And that's me. Has been my saying my whole life since I heard it, is you can do whatever you want. You can be the person you want to be. All we got to do is go out there and get the knowledge. And where better to get knowledge than the internet? Now, is there lots of crazy stuff out there, and you got to pick the right people. Pick people that you trust, that you've talked to, that you can build a relationship. And there's no better place that I've found yet. Legendary set it up. They give you a community. They help you. And that has been a blessing for me, is I can jump on. And I've talked with Phil and I've talked with Kelly on their lives. And those people have helped me be the guy I am today. And I just want to return that favor. So that's what I've gained from this, is that it's just learning how to be and empathize with people and be a better person and help serve people. And I think that just comes around, that it'll in turn come back around. What you give out comes around.
Well said, brother. Great show, man. Thanks for being on. Thanks for your time this morning. Thanks for, getting started and pushing through and seeing the vision and wanting more for yourself and your kids. You're a great addition and part of our community here, and really, really valued our time this morning. So I'll hopefully talk to you soon and have you back on the show to get an update on your journey. And until then, my brother, be legendary, and thanks for your time today.
We will. Thanks, Dave. Take care, man.
All right. See you. All right, my friends, you can go and follow and find Matt over on TikTok at Better Life with Matt. Better Life with Matt 1. I'm sorry, there's a 1 at the end of that. Better Life with Matt 1. He's actually got 2 profiles. There is a profile with Better Life with Matt and then Better Life with Matt 1. Okay, so you can actually follow both of those profiles. Seems to be he's got a backup profile. Smart guy. All right, my friends, another amazing show. Thank you. I'm seeing the comments coming in, and hey, Sherry said it was one of her favorite Wake Up Legendaries. You're so welcome. Thank you for your comment and your wonderful, empowering validation and acknowledgement to Matt, of course. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful, kind comments. They mean a lot. They help a lot. Just for you as you're watching, you're listening in, to drop a quick comment and just, say something. It's a wonderful contribution to the show. It makes the show what it is. Honestly, if one of the reasons why we stream live versus recording just the two of us and then posting it online like what most podcasters do, is so we can be with you all, so we can be together every day, at least every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. In your comments and all that lets us know that you're there and gives us energy and compliments and validation. And of course, I love the validation for our guests, because this is, in many cases, their first time being live, or of course their first time being on Wake Up Legendary, unless they're a returning guest. And so, my friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. I'm going to go, rest this ear, keep pumping those antibiotics in me, and you'll likely see me tomorrow. If you don't, it was because I got worse and not better, but that's not what I'm putting out into the universe. I'm projecting and I'm speaking nothing but healing. Pray for me, send me good energy, send me good vibes, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Thank you again, Matt, for a wonderful show. Go follow him at Better Life with Matt, and on his second account, Better Life with Matt 1. And one more thing, if you want to get a text message reminder every single morning when we go live, text the letters WUL, caps or no caps, WUL, to the phone number 813-296-8553. Just put in WUL where you usually type your text, and then send those letters, WUL, to 813-296-8553. Just text that, and you'll get a confirmation that you're on the list, and we'll send you a reminder with a link to join right directly every morning from your little text message window right on to Facebook, where you can catch us live here again every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we'll see you back here, same place, same time tomorrow for another episode. Love you. Get out of here. Peace.